There's something that keeps on coming up for me that I wanted to speak into regarding our ideas around how we become enlightened, which feels like a bit of an old word. But that is kind of the point of what I'm making, is that we've got all these old ideas around spirituality that aren't really relevant anymore, or they are relevant, but they're less relevant than what they used to be. So I'm just reading this sentence from the Bhagavad Gita that says, those who aspire to the state of yoga should seek the self in inner solitude through meditation. And then there's another quote from Milarepa, like a corpse lying quietly in the cemetery, doing nothing and having no worries. Happy is the yoga of non-action. And yes, that's true, and that's not the full picture. This is one method, and this method is for the path of the renunciate. If you want to live in disconnection from humanity, then this path is appropriate. However, if you're living in a social setting and participating in the world, then these can be practices that you can dabble with, but it's not the dominant path for you. And I feel like a lot of people in spiritual communities are kind of living with these scriptures in the back of their hand, and it's just, you're kidding yourself, because it's not the method that matches the reality that you exist in and the path that is more suited to your lifestyle choices. So I wanted to shed some light and bring some awareness to the fact that we live in a polarity planet, and the law of polarity applies. And as we're ascending into fifth dimensional consciousness, the polarity itself is also going through its evolutionary cycle, and polarity is becoming paradox. So this delineation between self and other and inner and outer, even that is becoming merged, the two are merging. So we're starting to see the mirroring effect of our outer world reflecting our inner world, which we all know, but we're starting to see that more clearly now. And so with that in mind, the other is the externalization of the self. And in these old texts, it's like the other is depicted as a sort of distraction, or having this external stimulus that can provide some sort of temporary gratification, but ultimately you should reorientate to the self within to find your source of fulfillment. And that's true, and because the other is now seen as an extension of self, there is no, like, the inner outer question is like, well, is it really, am I really looking out or in when I'm looking at the other? Because the other is the self, just pressed outwards. And so you kind of, in a paradoxical way, when you're looking at the other, you're looking inwards.